I'll take it.
Are you sure you're not interested? I was like, don't ask me again.
And it's a bad hair day too.
So she's like, scream for me, and then it's just dead silence.
It was a good risk to take, and it was great.
Boom! I'm gonna try and give you a friend, and then I was like,
I wish you had like a granny mask.
That would be so cool, or like a ghost uniform.
And everybody was like totally freaked out.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Jordan. Hello.
Hello, Mark.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Mark.
Hi. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for joining me. I really, really appreciate this. And I can't wait to talk to both of you about your music work and everything under the sun. So as we were talking pre-show, and I showed a short clip of this, I have to talk about my introduction to your band, which was through the tribute song for The Gathering. And so if we could talk a little bit about that, then we'll get into other things about your band. So what made you choose that particular song of The Gathering? I'm just curious.
Well, that's my very favorite song from them. So we really wanted to play it. It's a band we really like, so we really wanted to do it. So it was really good, and we had a lot of fun recording it. So happy you like it.
I think that Souvenirs is a great album.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think it's so for someone like me, because you guys have done a lot of a lot of videos around your channel, and you've been doing them for several years. How long is it typically, like for that song as an example, how long did it take you to record it, but then also to do the video for it?
That song was kind of fast to do because we knew it very well. So we listened to it a lot before, like for many, many years. That's kind of our favorite song. So it was really fast to do. We did the song like in 2 days of recording, and the video in a couple hours, like an afternoon, it was done. Then a couple hours to edit. So it was okay, kind of 3 days to make the whole thing. This one was kind of fast because it's something we really like it, and I mean, we like everything, but
and we know the song.
Yes, we know all the parts, everything that happens anywhere. So it was kind of fast.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, well, that sounds incredibly fast to someone like me in terms of you recording it that quick and filming the video and then editing everything and putting it together, considering how well it came out. So that's, yeah, no, that's amazing. And so if I could also maybe learn a little bit about, so what's the background between, for both of you in terms of your musical background? Like how did you become a vocalist and all the instrumentation that Cello does? Can you bring me back for people that aren't familiar with the band?
Well, I started singing when I was around 15. I started taking classes, and I was very influenced by my dad. He used to take me to a lot of concerts like Rush and Pink Floyd. So he always showed me a lot of music. And then we met around 2012, and we started to think about making music together. So that's what happened. Everything started to evolve from that. But Cello had previous bands before, so he can talk about it a little bit. If he speaks Portuguese, I can translate it. So
I played heavy metal and death metal and other genres.
He used to have a heavy metal band, symphonic metal band too. So that lasted for a couple years. So yeah, this is my first band, my first project ever.
Okay, and in Cello's case, are you self-taught as a musician? Did you learn how to play on your own, or did you take lessons?
Você aprendeu a tocar sozinho?
Yes, I learned it by myself, and I started to play very very early, around 9 years, with 9 years, 10 years. And I was musician of the night in Brazil, playing random styles and I started to produce and recording in my home studio in 2001, something like this.
Okay. And I'm just seeing a comment from Fabio on YouTube. Yeah, they're just saying that the audio on the band's end's a little low. Is there any way you can turn that up a little bit? I can hear you fine, but it is a little low even for me to hear.
Yes. Is it better now?
Yeah.
It's okay?
Yep. Much better. Thank you so much. And thank you, Fabio, for the comment. So hopefully that's better for you watching on YouTube.
Great.
So when in Cello, you mentioned that you started in your home studio around 2001, producing. Is that also when you built the studio?
Seu fiz.
Quando você construiu o estúdio, mas você trabalhou.
Actually, I never built. It's really home studio. It's only a table with my computer and 2 speakers and audio interface, and
that back there is the front door of our house. So when people enter our house, this is our living room. Really, our living room.
Okay, yeah, no, I think a lot of people, especially nowadays, because you can buy the equipment and have it in your home, and you can produce what you're producing, and it's so different than like back in the 1980s when you had to go to a studio and you didn't really have alternatives. So now it's really nice to have that technology available to everybody.
Yes.
And then Gabby, when you were saying that your dad was taking you to concerts like Rush and Pink Floyd, and so is that where your direct progressive music influence came from? Was from being around those concerts with your dad?
Yeah, definitely. That's where it came from. I also like different styles, like The Gathering and different bands, but that's where the progressive influence came from, and also from the versions we started doing. We did Renaissance version, and then we started digging into more progressive stuff. So that's where this type of music started coming into. But we like different styles too, but that's how it came for me.
Okay, yeah. I mean, after I started looking through your YouTube channel after hearing the cover of the Gathering song, I was actually pleasantly surprised to see how progressive things were in terms of Marillion and Rush and Genesis and all the bands that you covered. I was actually expecting it to be more of like maybe more symphonic side of things. I know you covered a Nightwish song, but I was really pleasantly surprised. Like, oh, here's a band doing all of these things, and you're doing full tribute, CDs and albums to them. Do you it might be hard to pick, but of the ones you've done so far, is there a favorite tribute album that you've done?
Oh, that's very hard. Oh, I really like the Marillion album. It's probably one of my favorites. There are songs there that I really, really love, but
it's hard to pick one.
It's very hard. I can say Marillion today, but tomorrow it can change because it just changes all the time.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of a loaded question, like asking you to pick your favorite child or something.
Yeah, it's very hard. Pick your favorite cat. It's too hard.
And so, who was listening to Marillion first? Were you both listening to Marillion, or did you have to kind of discover them on your own at different times in life?
I think Cello probably listened to it before because he showed me the CD, the Seasons End CD. So that's how I started listening to it after he showed me this. So probably he started.
Because Kaylee in Brazil is very popular, but I was very, very younger when Kaylee was released in Brazil, and I can say that I listened Marillion in 1999, 1998, when they released in Brazil Afraid of Sunlight album, that with Beautiful is very popular song here.
Okay, and that just kind of brings up a question: is the progressive music scene? Is it is there a scene there in Brazil? Like is Marillion and Rush and Genesis, are those popular artists down there then?
Yeah, they're very popular here. Marillion had a lot of songs on TV playing, and when they come here, the concerts are crowded. And Renaissance here, they did 2 nights of concerts.
Yes.
And Roger Waters, when he came here, he did like 2 nights of full stadiums in the same city. So it's very big. And also the local bands, we have this, sometimes we have these kind of festivals. We played in 2019, we played in a only Prague festival here. So it's kind of a thing here. It's kind of big.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think for here, at least in the Seattle area, maybe the whole U.S., Marillion's considered like a cult band. They never got big here, but Genesis did, and definitely Rush for sure. But if you see Marillion to someone who's not into progressive music, they probably don't know who that is here in the U.S. But I know who they are because of Kaylee. That's the first thing I ever heard of them.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like, and I remember I was playing drums to that song. I'm a musician myself, and I was trying to learn the guitar parts and all that stuff. And so that's when I first became a fan. But prior to that, I didn't know who they were. And so back then, the music videos really had a huge impact because they did stuff like that. It's like, oh my gosh, who's this band? But let's talk about your original material. When you write your songs, what's that process like? Does somebody come up with the music? Do you guys sit there together with a guitar and just vocals and try to work through things? How do you compose your original material?
Well, usually Cello records the first instrumental guitar part, like the bass guitar with some kind of melody on top of it. That's what actually,
some kind of guide.
Yeah. That's what we're doing right now, actually, because we're writing our next album together. So that's what's happening right now. Cello's recording the bass guitar with some kind of guide, and then I come and record and write the lyrics and record the vocal guide on top of it, and then he records all the instruments, and then I record all the vocals. So that's how we do it.
Okay, and for the new album that you're working on, do you have certain topics that you're writing about lyrically then?
Well, on our last album, we tried to do something more kind of it had a theme, a concept album, the last one. And it was it was kind of a closed topic. We were talking about the stages of depression. That was what the last album was about. So it was kind of a closed topic. But on this album, I'm trying to just write whatever comes up. It's becoming kind of sad because of all the things we're living right now. So it's kind of a very sad album, but it's kind of talking about everything we're living right now. It's coming up like this. I'm not like thinking about any specific theme to write. So I think it will be sad and definitely heavier because the songs are getting kind of heavier too. So
okay. No complaints here if it gets heavy. I love heavy music. So, yeah, I love all kinds of different styles of metal, all the way to a little bit of country, pop, rhythm and blues, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, heavy's never an issue for me. The first band I ever saw was I saw Kiss way back in 1979. That's how old I am, and things just got heavier from there. But yeah, it makes sense. The other guests that I've talked to, because of the lockdown and pandemic that we've been in for the last year or so, it's definitely directly influencing their art, whatever they're coming out with as musicians. It can't help but influence it because we're living it every day. So I think and sometimes the most emotional times, you get the best product, the best music, and the best art comes out of it. So I'm really excited to hear what you guys come out. And it's your 4th original album, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have like a rough idea in the future, like when it might get released?
Well, we released this album, and then we're thinking about our next album, our next tribute album. We'll be making this year too. We don't know the band yet, but we were thinking about choosing 3 bands and put on Facebook and make people choose what they want to hear. So that's our plan for this year. We'll make this album and we'll make another tribute album. We're also thinking about making an album with songs from the 80s. So that will probably happen this year too. So I guess 3 albums this year. That's our plan. Let's see how it goes.
Like a bucket hat.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's gonna keep you busy for
Yeah.
sure. And let's see. Hey, Steve, good to see you down in Texas. Thanks for joining us. And
Hello.
yeah, and I'm seeing Fabio saying that's a great idea about voting on the 3 bands of which one should you guys do your next tribute of. I already know which band I think you should do it of, but I can even think of some of the songs that would fit really well with your voice and everything from The Gathering. But I don't know if they're the most popular one, depending on the other 2 that you put up. So we'll see. But when you mentioned 80s music, I'm a child of the 80s, so that got me really interested too. Yeah, if you ever want some ideas, I'll email them to you or something of songs that I think would be a good fit. Let alone with your new original material. So that's great that you have so many different things that you go back and forth with, like what your interest is. You engage the fans, and you just keep moving forward with it. And I know that you put out a DVD a few years ago of a live performance from the festival. So what's it been like for you not now, but when you could perform live? What was it like for you playing on stages? Were you doing a lot of shows or only a few shows?
Well, that was actually our very first show ever, and it became a DVD. And then after that, we did another concert on December 2019.
Actually, we did
Yeah.
Around 10 rehearsals
Yeah.
before this concert.
Yeah, and then it somehow became a DVD. I
Was
don't know
the
how
first,
it did.
the first time that Gabby
Yeah.
comes on the stage.
My first time on stage too.
Yeah.
So it was kind of crazy, and I don't know how it worked out, but it did. And yeah, and then we just did another concert, and then
And we have
lockdown came. And
very crazy stories about this concert.
yeah,
The console wasn't work before 10 minutes to start to play.
yeah. And we wanted to record because the organizer said, oh, we can record the concert, and then we can kind of use the videos to make some kind of clip for YouTube or something like that. And then the material was good, and the concert went well somehow, because I don't know how we did, because it was our first concert together, my first concert on stage. So it worked out, and the audio was sounding good. So it just became a DVD, and then we have physical copies of it. So crazy, but it was cool.
So Gabby, I have to ask you, if that was your first time performing on a stage in a concert, how nervous were you?
You can see in the first song, my legs are kind of shaking when I get it kind of took 2 or 3 songs to lose up a little bit, to stay a little bit calm. So yeah, it was, and I'm very shy, so that was,
and the theater are very crowded.
Yeah, I'm a very shy person, so that was very hard, but I'm glad it worked. So.
Yeah, no, I can only imagine going, onto a stage in a theater that was crowded for your very first time. Plus, as the vocalist, you have the most expressive instrument, having the voice. So it's like all eyes are on you initially. So, wow. I definitely need to buy that DVD because I saw it on your store, on your site. So I want to see the whole thing the way it was supposed to be intended. But did you also play, was it one show in the U.S.? Is that what I read correct?
Yes, we did. Before that show, we played at a pub in Huntsville, in Alabama, in Huntsville. We played there it was a kind of a Irish pub, and we did an acoustic set, just the 2 of us. And that was really the first time I played in public, but the first time in a big stage with people, a lot of people watching, was on the DVD. So.
Okay. I'm just curious, how did you end up playing in Huntsville, Alabama?
It's a long story.
It's a very long story. Well, we met this friend on internet called Bruce. If you're there, hello, Bruce.
One of the biggest friend for us.
Yes, he's one of our biggest friends right
It's
now.
like our family today.
Yeah, we started talking by email about our second album, what I found, and he started asking some questions about it, and we started talking to each other back and forth. And then after like a year talking to each other, we just went. He just brought us to America, to the USA, like to meet each other. And then we went there, and we had a really great time, and it was really fun. And we saw some concerts together, we visited some places, and then on the next year we came back there. And his brother-in-law, he lives in Huntsville, and he plays at this pub sometimes. And he said, well, if you want to, you can play there, like I can make you arrange a date for you to play here. So we just went there. We didn't know Chris, who is his brother-in-law. We didn't know anything, so we just went there. We don't know any of this.
It was very crazy concert because we played Crosby, Stills, Nash Young and Anathema.
Yeah, the same night. Yeah.
Wow, of all the places to play, that's so interesting that, one of the people that's your friends now, and the relative that is there in Huntsville, Alabama. The reason why I'm laughing about that is because one of my favorite punk bands is based out of Huntsville, Alabama. So I thought,
really?
Yeah, I'm like, there's not going to be anybody else that is ever coming from Huntsville, Alabama. But here we go, and it's a band from Brazil.
It's a really cool place.
A gente encontrou a menina brasileira lá.
Yeah, and at the same night there was a Brazilian girl playing at the same bar, so we were like,
and singing in Portuguese.
And singing in Portuguese.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Crazy moments. Moments.
I'm just curious. Do you remember the name of the pub you played at?
Maggie Myers.
Maggie Myers.
Okay, I'm gonna have to ask because the leader of the punk band that I know, he's down there right now. I have to ask him about this pub, and he can tell me some more background about why there's international guests playing there, which is awesome. Don't get me wrong, but there's just So if you had said, well, we played in L.A., we played in New York, we played but Huntsville, Alabama.
Yes.
Awesome. Oh my God.
It was really fun.
Yes.
And Cello, you mentioned that you had played in previous bands before. So were those bands playing shows around? So you're kind of used to being on stage versus Gabby being new to it?
Yeah. Só toquei mais vezes.
Se você com as outras bandas tocou em outras
bandas. Yes. I played to 10,000 people already.
Wow. Okay, so playing, so that doesn't phase you at all then, being on stage.
No, but in this concert, I felt like the first time on stage too. I was very nervous too.
Interesting.
I think that it's because her first time, I felt like her.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, and you know what? And that makes sense because you knew it was Gabby's first time performing in a large theater, and you want to do well. Obviously, both of you are trying to do well, and the musicians that you had with you. So you probably put some pressure on yourself, is my guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then that creates some nerves because I haven't performed in front of 10,000 people, but I've performed in front of people. And sometimes I'm my own worst enemy. I will put too much pressure on myself. I should just relax and then go out there and have fun. Sometimes I can't do that. It's like,
but it's great to feel like that because I think I pay more attention on my guitar.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just seeing some of the comments that Fabio was talking about. Okay, interesting. So when things open up, whenever that is, let's say it's like a year from now, next year, do you plan on doing more concerts, or it's more like you really enjoy doing the studio work more?
Well, I think we really wanted to do the concerts because we just started doing it and then we just stopped it to kind of cut the vibe we were in. We were starting to get together at the studio rehearsing and things were going very well. We were supposed to play a concert on March here in Brazil. It was a big festival for Rush fans. It was called Rush Fest. There
We
would be
prepared acoustic
yeah,
concerts to play.
we had rehearsed it for a while, and it was supposed to happen like next week, and this week the lockdown started, so
Yes.
it was canceled. And it's been a
Fora o
year.
Canadá, né?
Yeah, and after that we were going to
In April.
play. Yeah, on April of last year there was supposed to happen a tribute, a memorial service to Newport in Canada. And we were invited to play there, 2 songs, acoustic songs, and we were really excited to do it, but then it didn't happen too. So we really hope it happens sometime soon so we can do it, because that would be really amazing. It was going to be in a very big stadium for lots of people, and that would make me very nervous too.
A lot of
I
people.
think it would be fun.
Yeah, I'm thinking about some of the Rush videos that I've seen from Brazil, and why do you think the fans there are so crazy for a band like Rush? I mean, they're jumping up and down. There must be 40,000 people there, maybe more. Yeah. Why do you think it's? I mean, there seems to be something specific about Brazil and maybe South America as a whole, where the fans are just crazy.
Yeah.
Argentina.
Yeah.
It's very crazy people too.
Argentina is very
actually
crazy.
In South America.
Yeah.
Publicly, he is very warm.
Okay. I don't know why, but people just love being in concerts here. I love to go to concerts here.
I think like the big AC/DC concert was in the
Argentina. Yeah, there's a DVD from AC/DC in Argentina that's crazy crowd. They slept on the line for weeks just to see them. So people here do that. I don't know why, but they just really love the music. So people sleep around the stadiums to see concerts. They don't go to they don't shower, they don't sleep just to be there. So
people listen music there here with body, not only by ears.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. It sounds like they live it. They live it so much and love it so much. Then, and that makes sense because again, if it's them, if it's Iron Maiden, if it's other bands that have come down there, it's just like it's freaking nuts.
Yeah, it really is.
And I, as a fan, I love seeing that because the energy is actually coming off the TV screen if I'm watching something like that, and that's pretty incredible to watch something instead of actually being there. I can only imagine what's like actually being there in person with 80,000 people or whatever going crazy like that. Like I think the biggest show I've seen here would have been like maybe 50,000 people, like for the Rolling Stones or something. And there's not that. Well, part of it's the crowd there because that's a different type of band. It's also an older band, but I just don't think I see that level of fanaticism as I see down there, and that's awesome. And I'm seeing someone saying from Washington, D.C. that your live DD is one of the most amazing live recordings ever. Oh, awesome. Okay. Yeah, you don't have to sell it to me. I definitely need to buy it. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, and so since you said one of your good friends is based in the U.S., Bruce, that got you eventually to that gig in Huntsville, Alabama. Are you finding that you have fans all over the world? Or are they more concentrated in Brazil? Where's your fan base?
Well, we have people. Yeah, UK is very. We have a lot of people in the UK. We really hope to go there sometime soon. And US,
Germany, France,
yes,
Italy,
France, yes.
I think that USA, United States, is the biggest public.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah, it's just so interesting to me, and I love it that here it is. Like again, maybe 7-10 days ago, I didn't know who you were, and I just stumbled onto one video, and then I was just hooked. Like, where's this band been all my life? And I actually have to thank that to a friend who's in another band because she had done a cover of The Gathering many, many years ago. So I went to try to find that. And by doing that, I found yours. And I'm like, okay, let's give this a listen. And then I was just blown away by it. And Steve, he's saying that he's new to you as well. I'm going to check you guys out in a few. Steve, if you're into any kind of progressive stuff, again, like Rush, Marillion, Genesis, and also their original material, like they said, they got 3 albums out. They're working on their 4th. I think you're really going to dig what they're doing. Which brings me to another question: where'd the band name come from?
Nowhere, actually. we we just really wanted a name and we didn't know, so we just invented this word, like putting some words together, and it just came out like this. So it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't have any meaning behind it. We just needed a name and we just invented it. So yeah.
I think that is a good story. The name have no story.
Yes, no story behind.
It's so interesting because I just had an interview earlier today, and I also was talking with another friend that I know, another musician friend. She was trying to change her name to something else to reflect the music she's doing now. And so since I'm a writer, she was like, Mark, can you help me out trying to come up with a new name? I sent her so many things back and forth, and we'd do a search on the internet. Oh, it's already taken. Someone's already using something. And we never found anything. It took forever. So that's why I'm like, what is Fleesh? And the fact that you just created it and it worked is awesome.
I perceived that in 2015, the YouTube algorithms was very better than today to show our songs and our videos to people around the world.
You know what? And yeah, that makes sense to me because I had a guest a couple of weeks ago that I was trying to do some research on, and she's been doing music for a long time. So just doing a basic search on YouTube, couldn't find her stuff at all, and that's weird. But then
we released the musical box video a month ago, and if we have been released in 2015, this video was get some.
You could do better back then.
100 views in 5 or 6 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's unfortunate that algorithm changed to make it harder for people to find you. So hopefully, even like with this and anything else that people and fans are doing, I'm seeing quite a few. You definitely have fans because they're commenting I'm saying. So that's awesome, saying that they've been following you for 4 years, following you for since someone was 18. Oh, okay. And so, gosh, that's amazing. And is there any plans to do? I mean, forgive me if you've already done this, but have you been considered doing any kind of like a live stream acoustic set?
Yes, we've been thinking about doing this. We thought about doing themed live streams, like playing just Marillion songs in one live, and then just our songs in a different one, Rush songs. So we were thinking about that. Probably when we finish this album, we'll probably do this or somewhere in the middle of it. So we hope to do it soon. We just have to, sit down, just do some rehearsals, because sometimes we just play so many things, we just keep forgetting how to play that song. So we just have to sit down and rehearse a little bit and schedule it. I think it will happen soon. So.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's how I ended up doing these virtual interviews. Was that I got invited by a band to join their virtual tour. So I was opening up their shows by doing interviews for 30 minutes. And then they would have other bands and DJs, and then they would headline. And we did like 59 shows that way. Mm-hmm. And even though it's not the same as being there in person, it is an interesting way to connect with new fans and also your existing fan base until you can finally, play outside or play anywhere with an audience there, safely, let alone travel internationally to play. But I have a feeling, based on all the material you have and the quality of your material, is probably the best thing that I've noticed. That even going through your channel and going back 3 years, 4 years, it's like, God, you guys were good from the get-go. Some bands, some bands, no, thank you. some bands, they have to kind of learn their instrument and learn their craft, and that's a natural learning curve. But it seemed like you guys came in there and were just kind of, you had some really distinct things going on right from the start. That's really respectable.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so And I know you've done some like official music videos for your original material. Were those things that you guys did yourselves, or did you have like a friend film those, or how were those created?
Well, most of them we did by ourselves. Like the second album we have, it's called What I Found, and we have some videos there. We have a video for Systems Down that we did all by ourselves in our house. It's all in a kind of black background, so we just did it together. He recorded me. Yeah, we have the Frankenstein video that we did on a white wall in our bedroom. And then we have the time-lapse video that was kind of more elaborated, but we did it by ourselves too. We went to this big forest we have here. It's called Tijuca Forest, and we recorded this video there. And also in our backyard, Cello had a water hose on my head to create some rain effect. And it was the only day that was cold in Rio. Like, it's always so warm here, and that day that I had to make me get water on my head, there was a very cold wind on me. The only day that was cold here in Rio. So we did everything by ourselves, and it's on our channel too, so you can check it out. And for the last album, the Across the Sea album, we have two videos playing on the studio that we had a guy recording us, because it was supposed to be
in our house,
the band together, so we needed someone to record. And we have another video that's kind of a lockdown video that's like a studio for ourselves here, like the drummer on his house, the bass player on his house. And the other video we also did in our bedroom. So it's basically all by ourselves. And all the other versions video we do is me recording him, he recording me. So
okay. You know what I love is that it sounds like you guys have always found a way to creatively get the job done. So if it's doing your own video, it's like using a hose to create rain. It all comes down to how does it look in the end, because we don't need to know how it was created. It's like, how does this look? How does it sound? And I'm guessing that, well, based on what I saw, everything looks amazing and sounds amazing.
Thank
so
you.
Yeah, trust me, I've tried to do some of that stuff on my own, and I fail. It doesn't look good, and that's why it's not on my YouTube channel. People won't see that. It's not ready. But sometimes when you have limited resources, then it forces you to be creative, and you come up with some really cool things that way. And it's just pure luck that on the day when you need it to be typically warm down there, that it was cold when you're getting water put on you. Oh my gosh. And so again, thank you so much for taking the time and for doing what you're doing. I love it when I discover somebody new, and so I can't wait to keep diving deeper into your music. And if you're open to it, maybe we can do a part 2 of this interview when you have like the new album coming out or the next thing, and we can kind of do an update on where you're at with all these projects. But keep doing what you're doing. I really love what you're about and everything we just talked about in this interview. And obviously all the fans out there, thank you for watching and chatting and all that kind of thing. So
thank you, my friend.
Yeah, get the word out about this band, because they're amazing. So thank you, and have a good night down in Brazil. And hopefully, again, we'll talk sooner than later.
You too, Mark.
Thank you for having us.
Okay.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See ya.